Alright, so most of you guys must have read the title and therefore you are here. And from the title, आप लोगों को पता चल गया होगा that I'm quitting NEET. And आप अभी मेरे comment section में जाके मुझको गाली भी दोगे शायद क्योंकि I'm quitting NEET after attempting it. This would have been my third attempt. Would have been my third attempt, but मेरे drops इससे पहले 3 हो गए even without attempting for NEET. And I'll tell you why. And I'll also tell you why that quitting NEET might be the best thing that I'm doing for myself. So, my name is Pratiksha and welcome to my channel. Just a disclaimer, if you are someone who is very passionate about this exam and you are about to attempt it for the first time, तो ये video this is not for you, okay? Don't take my video in that way. This is another disclaimer. Whoever I am speaking about in this video, I am not disrespecting them. I am not trying to bring them down. I am not trying to shame them, regardless of whatever they have done or whatever our relationship is. It's just that I'm trying to share my story on a platform because I am mostly active on Quora and I have read a lot of similar stories like me, and then I felt like okay, I'm not the only one. And right now I'm in a position जहाँ पे मैंने खुद के लिए कुछ decide किया है. So अगर कोई मुझसे छोटा है, नहीं तो someone's going through the same thing and they are confused कि what they should do, so what if they see this video and take it as a sign or learn something, because I never had someone to guide me through. I am the eldest in my family and I am the only daughter from like my father's side. So it was pretty confusing for me. So if anybody is in my shoes, they can have that kind of wisdom, That is what that is the reason I am making this video for. So let's start from the beginning. जब से I was a छोटा बच्चा, I only got to hear from my mom that you should become a doctor. मेरी बेटी डॉक्टर बनेगी, मेरी बेटी डॉक्टर बनेगी. So nobody in my family told me that this is the only thing you need to do. But I kind of thought that it is my responsibility, an unsaid responsibility. There was this unsaid pressure onto me that as the eldest daughter and as the only daughter, like अभी तो है but they are like smaller than me, तो मुझे ये करना है. And I liked science and I still love science, okay? I also love the biological part of science more. So I thought, yeah, that's it for me. I need to become a doctor. So there was this unsaid pressure onto me that is what I had to do. Like becoming a doctor is like something that I have to prove to my parents, especially my mom. Just so you guys know, I did most of my schooling in Goa. So from play school till grade 7th, I was doing my education in Goa as my father was working there. Then we had to move back to our hometown in Maharashtra. Gonna keep it kind of anonymous from where actually. So we moved to our hometown in Maharashtra because of my dad's increasing addiction of alcohol, and it was not going well for us in another city, and so we moved back to our hometown here because of his increasing addiction for alcohol. That was my parents' decision back then. We were like chota bachas, me and my younger brother. They both thought that if he is, especially my mom, they thought that if they move back to the hometown where most of our relatives are, like not most, all of our relatives are, if something happens, तो कल के लिए कोई देखने के लिए होगा, कोई पास में रहता है, because there was no relatives of ours in Goa. It was just solely our family, like our small family of my father, mother and me and my younger brother. So fast forward, we move here, leaving everything, and I mean everything in Goa. We moved back to Maharashtra, ठीक है? And what we thought would like help our father's addiction actually made it even more worse, okay? Firstly, it was just a little bit of alcohol addiction, but when we moved here, he had all the finances with him, okay, he had all the money with him. So he moved here first, and me, my mom, and my younger brother, we were like on our way to Maharashtra. But before we even like arrived here, he was done spending the whole amount in drinks, you know, and all of our stuff was like soaking wet in the rain. He was just laying inside the house. It was a disaster. So that's how our life started here back in Maharashtra. So fast forward, I would just like to run the story, and I'm just giving a little small context here and there. So I took my admission, like I was admitted to क्लास 7th का 2 सेमेस्टर होके गया था. सो कैसे वैसे मुझको स्कूल मिला कोई, दे एक्सेप्टेड मी समहाउ, एंड या आई वाज हियर हाफ वे थ्रू 7th. एंड फ्रॉम 7th to 10 मेरा इतना गंदा टाइम गया है, लाइक इतना गंदा टाइम गया, एंड आई विल एक्सप्लेन एंड व्हाई दिस इज नेसेसरी. You will know it later in the story. So his addiction increased, and that led to domestic violence. First it was just verbal abuse, you know, parents were having with each other. So now what was just alcohol became a fuel to verbal abuse. First it was just verbal abuse to my mom, but dheere dheere it came up to me. Then it came up to my younger brother, and he said so many things that left a very very deep imprint onto me. Then from verbal abuse it led to domestic abuse, and वो इतना बढ़ गया कि जब तक someone was not bleeding it would not stop. I remember being in 8th 9th grade, and calling cops over my dad because he won't stop beating the hell out of my mom, you know, beating the hell out of me. This would start somewhere around night at 8 p.m. and would go till midnight, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., or we just wouldn't sleep, me and my mom. And he would be drunk, right? So even after doing all that, he would just go to his bed, sleep, and the next day he would wake up like nothing ever happened. You know, I really don't wish it even on my worst enemies ki you have to call cops on your dad, and the cops, they hit your dad in front of you because it's so evident of what he has done, because there used to be marks, there used to be bleeding and everything. Yeah, so that's how my 7th 8th and 9th went. 10th just became more worse. So 10th में मेरे boards थे, and my dad knew that I'm having my boards. So what he does is every time I sit to study, he would start arguments. So I was very grateful to have one tuition teacher. She would like make me stay at her place till midnight, till the time I'm satisfied with my studies, and then send me home. So let's say if I came home from like at around 12 a.m., this man would stay up till 12 a.m. and then start an argument. So I'm completely drained from my studies, okay, and I'm already going through a lot mentally already in this house. So he would stay up till midnight, and when I'd come home, he would tell my mom, or he would say things like, what were you doing outside this late? आप धंधा कर रहे थे बाहर. These are his literal words he has said to me, and no, it was not like उनको पता ही था where am I and where are my whereabouts, what are my whereabouts. He knew everything. He just wanted, I don't know what he was and what he is, but he said all these things to me and my mom too. Yeah, so this continued. मेरा 10th भी वैसा गया. उसके बाद then came 11th, and it just got more worse. Like everything you're gonna hear in this story आगे चल के क्या हुआ, it just gets more and more worse. So I took science as I wanted to become a doctor. So I took science in 11th, and again same things. But now it was to a point कि मुझे खुद police station जाना पड़ता था. So at the age of 17, I was going in police stations, and I was skipping my 11th a lot. इतना कि the teachers would ask me, hey, is everything going well at your home? And I would be like so disturbed in my classes that they would be like, is someone saying something to you? Is someone hitting you? Is everything fine at home? And I would just brush it off, and that would make me more resistant to show up to college, so I would like skip it entirely. And my grades were dropping too. So we all remember that when COVID started, जब COVID start हुआ था, like I was almost done with my 11th, okay? So COVID started, and it was a nightmare for me. Now we are all four are stuck in a house, ठीक है? And it became a hostile environment for mental health problems and also abuse, because that just means now कि this guy is gonna be home 24/7, and he's gonna beat the shit out of me and my mom. He is gonna be abusing us, okay? And yeah, one thing is why my mom did not move out. She is very naive, and भाई society क्या बोलेगी, you are a young girl. If I leave my husband outside, people will take advantage of you and me. So she never left. So yeah, whatever I thought जो लॉकडाउन पीरियड में हो सकता था वही हुआ. The abuse at home, it increased, and it was a hell living here with him, okay? And my mom got very seriously injured with all the domestic violence, so much so that she had like two blood clots उनके neck में, and there was a lot to do with her physiotherapy and everything. So I had to take a gap year, 2 gap years actually, to take care of her and also earn money. So I took 2 gap years after my 11th. I was not pursuing any sort of education in these gap years, okay? So वो हुआ. So after those 2 gap years, I pursued my 12th back in 2023. After my 12th, I gave NEET in 2023. Then in 2024, I also gave NEET. In 2023, मेरा 12th ही अच्छा नहीं गया था because of my mom's health. So yeah, it was just a trial exam. So yeah, I gave my first attempt in 2023. Then I took a gap year, and I said that I'll prepare बहुत अच्छे से in 2024. But the environment at house was just worse. As I said, it just got worse with time. So that happened. The 2024 में नहीं हुआ. Then 2025, I was like, this would be my last attempt, and I would prepare for this exam very nicely. But the thing was, I prepared for the exam एकदम अच्छे से, but I got very sick because जैसे चीज़ें चल रही थी घर पे, I was taking a lot of stress, and yeah, just how things were happening back in 10th. Whenever I would sit for studies, he would start with an argument, and the argument would lead to violence, and then staying up till the whole night, and hitting each other, beating the shit out of each other. And the next morning you have bruises all over your face, you are going to the hospital, you're taking injections, you're taking medicines for the pain. And yeah, I got sick at the very last moment. Itna sick ki I had high fever, and I was constantly vomiting, so I just couldn't show up for the exam. That's how drastically my health dropped. But in the third attempt, I worked so hard for it, and because of how I was living and how things were happening with me without even मेरी कुछ गलती नहीं थी, फिर भी I was getting beaten up, I was getting abused so continuously that my body just couldn't take it. So I just lost the complete motivation to do it. So I sat down with my mom, and I told her, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to become a doctor, and I don't want to give NEET anymore. I want to move on from my life. And she got kind of upset with me. She was like, but you took so many gap years for this. This was back in 2025. So if you see it from her perspective, she is seeing someone who has worked very hard and they are quitting last moment. Okay, so she's not wrong there, but by that time I knew somewhere in my heart that whatever I try to pursue in this environment, I am never going to achieve it. Be it anything, be it even a simple fucking BSc degree, I'm not going to get it because this environment is draining. मेरे 10th के साथ वही हुआ, 11th में हुआ, 12th में हुआ. I need to work and I need to move out from this place as soon as possible, or I am getting old here and getting married and just living the average life that I really am scared to live. Especially after seeing what happens when you don't have your own independence as a woman, what happens and how difficult it is to move out from an abusive place. But my mom was like super against it. She was like, no, this is a very bad idea, you should stick to this, you can do this. She was feeding me, like, she was trying to make me become a person who is very optimistic, ki, you know, you can be out of this situation. But that kind of optimism in the kind of situation I am in is kind of delusion. When you're getting beaten up every day and you wake up with new bruise every single day, to studies essay, you know, to this kind of exam is somewhere kind of delusion. Okay, I do believe that. And what she wanted to tell me was that you have Wi-Fi, you have iPad, and yeah, you are blessed. And that is very true. I am blessed to have a freaking Wi-Fi that works 24/7. I am blessed to have an iPad that I can study with. But what I don't have is stability, peace, you know, and support. I just don't have that. And she was trying to tell me, if इसका बच्चा ये बन सकता है, you know, ऑटो वाले का बच्चा ये बन सकता है, तो तुम क्यों नहीं बन सकते? If somebody who is working as a labor at the day and then comes home and studies for NEET and becomes this, then why can't you become? तुमने तो इतनी मेहनत की है, it should be easy for you. And I kind of took that as yes, maybe she's right. And I also tried to make my way out of this, but she was like, right now I don't want to listen anything to you about you, and I want to focus on my son. And that kind of broke me, and I was like, fine, maybe this is the only way out, you know, I'll study hard and everything. Also, I forgot to mention, back in 2025 when I couldn't attempt my NEET, I went bonkers, okay, with the thought कि मैंने इतना मेहनत किया था, कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता. And I went a little crazy and I started doing a job, and I was working in a good firm. They were very happy with the work that I was doing because I was just working like a mad woman, you know, जिसको कुछ नहीं था, जिसको बस ध्यान भटकाना था. तो I was just working day and night, like not day and night, but I was working very nicely, like pura I was deep diving in my work, and they liked my work. I was employee of the month there, just working there for like 3 months, and I was employee of the month there. And I was getting money, and I was kind of happy in my bubble that I'm making money, and I was somewhere out of this rut, so I was kind of happy. So, but my mom wasn't. So every time I'd come home after working a 12-hour shift, there would be a fight at home from my mom's side, that what am I doing with my life? And then there would be a fight at night from my dad's side. That was always happening. Then I decided that the place that I'm working for, they are providing for accommodation, and I was like, fine, I'll just move out and I'll pay for my own education. I'll find out something that I want to do, I'll pay for my own education, and I'll live on my own. Okay. And my mom was like, if you move out from here, you will never be allowed back in again. And I was kind of forced to leave that job and then focus back onto my studies and come back to NEET. So yeah, that's what happened. So I left the job and I started focusing back on NEET. But I'll tell you one thing, okay? At this point, as I said, मैं पहले भी बीमार पड़ चुकी थी because of whatever was happening at home. वो मुझे इतना mentally and physically exhaust कर रहा था कि मैं बीमार पड़ रही थी बार बार. And then after I left my job, which was kind of, you know, diverting my attention to outside environment, when I again became locked in at home, I became sick, and I was sick for 8 months completely. This year, 2026. I was sick for 8 months completely. And let me just tell you, what doesn't kill you does not make you stronger, it just gives you an autoimmune disease. I said what I said. What doesn't kill you does not make you stronger, it just gives you autoimmune disease. Before, like when I started work, like job outside, I was also going to gym, and this is like the physique that I built. I'll show you on the screen. Yeah, that's me. So I built that physique, okay? And then I became sick. I lost 10 kgs. Can you imagine? I was 60 kg and then I became 50 kgs. Then I became like, I came to 47 kgs. That was my weight. I was becoming skinny. I was having constant fever. And my mom kind of got scared that I'm gonna die. Okay? Then there were times where मुझको रात को नींद ही नहीं आती थी, and I used to just like walk in the house. Okay? So this went on straight for 8 months. So मेरी इसमें पढ़ाई भी नहीं हुई. And at this point, my mom kind of understood that whatever I was telling her, it's very true. So yeah, मैंने फॉर्म भरा था नीट का ये साल का भी, but yeah, I'm not giving NEET. I'm out of the competition. And this story of mine is to tell children in dysfunctional family that it is not your job. It is not your job to fix your parents. It is not your job to fix their traumas, to fix their relationship. But it is your job to get out of there and first find stability for your own self, not for your parents, not for your siblings. Go out, take any course out there. Just go out, get a job, fix yourself, okay? Get yourself out of that environment or you will die, and it is not your job to fix things in the house. You're a kid. You need to get out of the place that you are in, or else आपको पता नहीं चलेगा, but you lose so many of your years where others are going to trips, enjoying. And I know, like, college jana, it's kind of stressful for few people, but it's a privilege. It's a privilege to get education. It's a privilege to get tired of what you genuinely love to do instead of getting tired solving someone else's life, which is their own freaking mistake. We still live with our father, but but I no longer speak to him. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move out this year, in few months actually. And yeah, I'm gonna do a course that can give me some stability in my life, and then I'm gonna take my mom outside of this rat hole. And this is it. This is for my NEET. If you are someone who is in a dysfunctional family or who is in a toxic household, okay, I need you to move out of that place and not get stuck in it. Just move out. Let them hate you, let them despise you, but just move out. You're gonna do such a great work to yourself. And yeah, this is it. This is also a video to people who are taking constant drops. I made that mistake, okay? I was scared to get out of my comfort zone. I was scared to go against my parents, and I was like scared to start something new. But you need to understand, sometimes few things don't go as planned, they go as destined. Okay, maybe there is something out there waiting for me, something bigger, something better, or something that is more aligned with me. This is it. Whoever that is giving NEET this year, and who is ever that is prepared nicely, have supportive parents, best of luck to you. I hope your paper goes well. Those who are not and who are in a similar situation to me, I just gave you the idea. अगर आप मुझसे छोटे हो या आपके लाइफ में ये बहुत अर्ली स्टेजेस पे है, तो प्लीज़ निकलो वो प्लेस से. गिल्टी फील होता है to leave everything and be selfish to just chase your goal, but if you go outside and chase your goals, you will get the privilege to take people that you love out of that place too. That's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna document my life, what I'm gonna do ahead, and how things go for me. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel if you wanna see that. So bye bye.